Hey there, welcome to How to Become a Six-Figure Coach with all of the training you'll ever need to be a world-class coach. All that we ask is that you subscribe to the channel and enjoy your video. Hey there, welcome back to Pro Coach. This is Chase Jordan. I am your coach. It's great to have you with me today. The Coach's Role, Part 1. Let's get to it. So you made it. First and foremost, a big old congratulations. So many people buy these great courses and want to learn a system and a method, and they just don't. And you have made it this far. You've made it through master producer. You've made it through the foundations and preliminaries. Now let's really start digging into the gold, okay? So coaching, many times coaching is associated with a lot of stuff. So it can be a little confusing, like guidance, listening, support, skills, sharing, mentoring. You can read them all here. Well, as a pro coach, our methods have to be laid out for you so you can become the absolute best pro coach you can be. So I want to re-acknowledge, and you've been through our seminar, our online webinar seminar. You understand now, if you followed me, that coaching has been, but more importantly, most recently, has become accepted as a legitimate profession. So just like a lawyer, a professor, a physician, like an architect, coaches, due to all the changes in the world, now more than ever, people need that support. People need a coach. Coach is a sign of a strength. If I have a coach, it's a sign that I know how to become better, stronger, faster. And that is a big deal. So as a pro coach using our systems and methods, you are now entering a legitimate profession. If you were already a coach, you might not have seen yourself that way, but I want you to moving forward. So one of the questions we've had many times is coaching versus consulting. As you know, I've coached for over 25, I'm in my 25th year now, and it'll be more possibly by the time you hear this. And I've consulted for some of the major companies in the world and also small stuff, but a lot of the big stuff. And I've done both. So consulting is the transfer of skill to a client or company. When I consult, I'm really transferring some of my knowledge, if not all of my knowledge in a certain topic, to a client. Sometimes I do it for them. Sometimes I did it with them. Either way, my goal as a consultant is to leave the organization better than when I arrived, and where they can self-manage, they can self-propel, they can, if I teach them about employee engagement and we've built a system and a process for them, they can now do it without me. So that's kind of consulting. There's a bunch of other stuff, but coaching draws out. There's the difference, that distinction. It's all about distinctions. Draws out what's already within a client. So in many ways, a client already has most of the answers within. They really do. And do we fill in the gaps? Sure. Is there some consultative ways within coaching? Yeah, there is. There's some mentorship and so on and so forth. But there are two major differences. And I want you to know that. So if you wrote those down, it's always great to have a notepad really quick. This is a little bit of a heavy video in the sense that we're going to really share the role in part 1. So WIIFA, what's in it for me? What's in it for you? When you coach, you improve competencies. So I've always found, and so have my students, that when we coach, we get better ourselves. That's what's in it for you. So somebody is investing in themselves and paying you, investing in you as well, but you are now building your competencies while you coach. You're going to be doing this throughout. I do it while I teach and I coach because I'm still an active coach, which is why you're here. So to coach is to grow, essentially, isn't it? So we grow our marketing skills, our coaching skills. We really become proficient within the tools and systems of Pro Coach. And that is a great benefit for you, my friend. So to coach is to serve. If you're in this to serve, you want a life of service, well, coaching is truly the way to go. It is such a fulfilling career. And then coaching is loving. Coaching is caring. and a business. We already talked about that quite a bit, didn't we? So if you want to become a coach, you have to become a great business person, an entrepreneur, essentially. So begin every relationship with the client's graduation in mind. So this is one of the benefits for me that I like to share. I shared my vision of your success with you, and that just warms my heart. It motivates me. It brings me energy. It makes me more productive, effective. It makes me want to give you more because I share in that vision in many ways. And I cast it with you, sometimes for you. And we do that with clients all the time. Once we've gathered some of the data, so I had enough data on you, you're in Pro Coach. You've invested in yourself. So I can then start helping within part of your overall vision. And that is a great benefit. So the foundation, 2 key actions. As a coach, we are here to support and to develop. That's it. Within that lives a lot, and we're going to cover it, but you need to write that down. So when somebody says, if you're a pro coach, and that's what I'm really building within you, is a professional mindset, professional tools, systems, and knowledge bank that you can really pull so you can have those answers. Now, these things aren't going to come overnight. We have to study a little bit. We have to take good notes and just use Shoshin and have that beginner's mind in everything we do. That is a big, big part of supporting and developing another human being or organization, group, what have you. So you, as role model of success, there is no doubt. I had a client once basically says, well, can't anybody be a coach? Do we really have to walk on water? Meaning, do we have to be like a superhero type of character? No, but yes. So what that means is when we acquire a new client, we must, I believe, my belief, and the pro coach community believe, we should be the role model. If we want to help, if we're coaching somebody through weight loss or divorce or a new business venture or becoming, starting a new career, I should be your role model. I try very hard to look correctly. So there's a physical appearance. There's a mental state that occurs that is just has to be so sharp and rested. And when I speak about a topic, I have to be articulate, knowledgeable, confident, and I have to not only look like I know what I'm talking about, but I should know what I'm talking about. And I built this program. That's the proof in the pudding there. But if you're a pro coach, you should look up to not necessarily me, but I guess so, me. And that's what a client should look up to you in a way that is not like this whole like bow down to me or anything. It's more of a, boy, you have experience. You know a lot about this topic. I can certainly learn from you. And in many ways, I'd like to have some of the things you have. So I engage you right now to take the parts of me and transplant them into you and bring your own flavor to it. All right? So being a role model is key, and that's what you have to become. Start with what we know clients want. So start with what the client wants, darn it. So when we support and develop, this is not a selfish position. This is an all-in for the client position, okay? A coach offers comfort and safety, and that's what clients want, even in the beginning when they don't know what they want. This is decades of experience speaking. They want a safe place. They want comfort within the growing process. When they go from A to B, when they go from current reality to desired reality, whatever that is, that goes for an organization as well, they're looking for trust. So if you're a role model, you see how this all kind of merges together in lockstep? When you're there to support and develop and you're a role model and you want the best, you have the client's best interest in mind, and then you offer that comfort. Comfort comes with competency and safety, aka trust. I'm telling you what, you have gold there. So trust leads to speed and openness. And speed is very, very important because clients are using a coach to speed up the process, to avoid pitfalls and to go into the right direction. They want your ideas, your maps, your mindsets, your processes, your steps, your tricks, your secrets. That's why I hire a coach. And when I trust them, when they show me something, I say yes. When they say, go read that book, I go read it. If they say, think about this, I think about that because they're my role model. There's somebody that's done what I want to do, and those make the absolute best coach. And even if you haven't done, you might say, look, Chase, I haven't done what I'm coaching. That's okay. Do you know enough about the topic and more than that, than your client to take them there? That's all that's required. Experience is great. It's key. But you can also know a lot about something to take a person to the next level. Okay, that's okay. And they'll hire you for that, by the way. Don't be afraid of that. It happens all the time. Coach's role. A coach understands that anyone can evolve. Anyone. I've taken literally people from Detroit, Michigan, where everybody had given up on them. Everybody, this is a group that I took over as a consultant. Everybody was said that they were losers. They were from the wrong side of the street. And that nobody, literally, in 30 years were ever able to take the core of this group and get them anywhere. And I disproved that. I was able to do that within 6 months, and it was an outstanding thing. Then they retained me for another project. Anyone can evolve. We must believe that. We must transfer that belief within the client. That's what I did with that group that everybody had given up on. Master at developing collaborating partnerships. So really it's a two-way street. I used to coach a lot of executives on leadership, and they saw leadership as a one-way thing. I influence the group. Well, I always challenged them that the group should influence you and you should influence the group, and that there would be no leadership unless there's that collaboration. Well, the same thing applies for coaching. So you have to be a tremendous collaborator. We're going to go dive even deeper here down the road on this, but these are the high-level, foundational coaching mindsets and role identity that need to be absorbed by you. So deep understanding that together we achieve more. We talked about this already. Two minds are better than one. And a coach must believe and breathe these things as the role model. And then many times you're going to have to transfer that to a client. You're going to have to literally say those words. Both our minds are better than yours or mine alone, and really live and breathe that. So a coach accepts their client as they are. We don't try to repair anybody. We're not therapists, by the way. We're going to cover the rules of the road on that. But what we do is make sure that we accept who they are, all their beauties and all their challenges, and we're here to support them within both. And that is a key point, acceptance without judgment. So taking them where they are and getting them to where they want to go. Many times we're just helping in one aspect of somebody's life, one aspect of somebody's organization as a coach. And that's it. And we can help them along the way with other things, but we must accept them as they are. That's a big deal. A coach sees a client as a work of art. That's how I see it. And as a pro coach, you must look at them as a beautiful being. Right? It's not a sexual thing. This is almost like an artist, like they're a piece of art, literally. That's simple. And a piece of art must be revered and engaged with and appreciated. For the good, the bad, and the ugly, it doesn't matter. Really embracing them. That's the key role to a lot of the greatest coaches in the world. So a coach aids to clarify wants and needs. Many times people don't even know what they want or need. Right? There's a want, I want a Corvette. There's a need, I need good nutrition or I'll die. Right? I need water and air and good sleep to be a healthy human being, but I really just want to, look cool. But we need to identify their wants and their needs, and they're two separate things, and really start make sense for them. So a lot of listening, but really clarifying, because most people have never even done that exercise. Most people I've coached, when I really say, let's talk about what you really want, and let's talk about what you really need. Two different categories there. And there's a tool we're going to share with you on that exercise. That's what a coach does. A coach asks powerful questions. We're going to talk a lot about questioning in a different video and how you are going to become a master at asking really great, powerful questions. And it's not a matter of a lot of questions. It's a matter of a couple of those key great questions. And you're going to practice and develop that. And in our skill labs, on our coaching calls, we call skill labs for Pro Coach, we'll be able to practice a lot of that. So don't worry about that. This is just high-level stuff today. So a coach is a master visionary. To cast the vision of the future is a big deal. Most people don't do it well, right? And most leaders that can't cast a vision can't really lead. And as a coach, you are a leader. So once we acquire all the information, we help our client build that vision of the future. And that is one of the most powerful things a coach can do. And I'll give you the tools for that too. Coaches help plan out futures. So we just touched on that, but I'm repeating it because that's really what we have to do. We have to make sure our clients can see the vision and that we are literally holding an even higher vision for them. That's our role, part of our role. And I know there's a lot there. That's why the video is yours forever, because you probably need to re-listen to this a couple times and take really good notes with the beginner's mind. A coach assists in achieving that vision. So not only do we evaluate the current condition, we really determine what needs to happen in the future, then we paint that vision, a huge vision for our client, even bigger than they can even envision. And then we assist on achieving that, meaning we have processes and system within ProCoach to help you take your client or clients to the next level. All right, continued here. A coach is the ultimate empathizer. We're going to talk a lot about empathy and sympathy and the differences, but for today, empathy. Go look at that definition. We're going to do an exercise down the road. A coach is accountable to them, meaning to our clients, not for them. All right, we're not here to baby and muscle results for our clients. What we are here, though, is to support and develop them so that they can get to the next level. We're here to sweep off the first step, sweep off the second step of their progress, and so on and so forth, so they can get to the level they want and achieve that vision. But the coach is accountable to them, not for them. We do not work with clients that don't want to work for themselves, and we're going to cover that in length. A coach understands the difference between empathy and sympathy very, very clearly, and we're going to talk about that in a different video. We lay it all out for you. So just kind of get your mind, get the juices flowing on what this role is and all the many parts of it, knowing that it lays and sits in the support and development umbrella. Okay? So empathy versus sympathy. Sympathy stalls movement. It just does. Oh, I know, you're going through a hard time. Oh, God, if I had to go through that same hard time, I'd fall apart too. As a coach, terrible coaching, you're joining the pity party, right? It's just a sad place to be, and it stops movement. And if your role is to increase movement in progress for a client, sympathy doesn't work. Empathy embraces reality and coordinates forward movement. So empathy is this: I hear you that you're going through a hard time. I empathize with what that would feel like. I get that. So now let's look at the reality of exactly what happened. Let's be very objective. And then let's really establish the next step forward from there. See? Empathy versus sympathy. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper on that later. So empathy-based statements are very, very critical. So I know that you are attempting, what you're attempting isn't easy. Instead of like drowning with you, though, we're going to move forward. So let's start establishing what's going on. Let's find the truth, and then let's move forward. I can hear the struggle in your voice. So let's just discuss that a little further. Not that, I remember the time when I was, same thing happened to me, and let's just jump into the fire, the both of us, and just call it a day. It won't work, right? It won't work. So from my point of view, I can see that this is a rough situation for you, and I acknowledge that. So now let's talk about that. Let's make sure we really understand what happened objectively, not emotionally, not making up anything. Let's really clarify what the truth is, and then I'm here for you. What would it take for you to move forward from this? Very, very powerful stuff. So don't take this little tool for granted. It's a big one. We'll review it some more down the road. So encouragement-based statements are critical as well. So this is all part of the role because you're going to be dealing with this very early on with clients. Okay, it happens all the time. Misery loves company. Clients love to complain. Okay, even the good ones. So I believe you have the ability to get this done. This is how a pro coach speaks. You have the ability to get this done. I know you as a resilient and capable person. I believe in you. These are words of a professional coach. I know you can make this change happen. I am here for you. I support you. What will it take? Let's talk about what you believe it will take to get this done. You see the difference there? Empathy versus sympathy. We talk about this a lot right off the bat in the roles, in the role clarification here, because this is a huge point, a massive mindset you have to really, really master. So listening as a superpower. This is such a big deal. This was one of the first lessons. Empathy and sympathy was a big one, but listening as a superpower is something you have to embrace. You have to become a superhero of listening. Okay, superwoman, superman of listening. So what right looks like. Understand that most feel misunderstood. So when we begin with a client, we really have to understand, without necessarily laying it out for them, this person probably has felt or is feeling misunderstood. That's why they're using a coach. Whole being listening. We're going to really review what whole being listening means. And it's really not just understanding what they're saying, but it's really understanding what is happening around them as well, in their personal life, in their business life, at work, inside, outside. This is a big deal. This is not just good listening skills. This is a whole being listening skill. Clients' eyes, body, tone, words, soul, demeanor, surroundings, everything matters when we're listening. And we're going to work a lot on that along the way within Pro Coach. Listening is an activity we must take pride in. So it's not a gloating, hey, I am the best listener ever. No, this is really understanding that you work on listening every day. A whole being listener, a pro coach, really goes well beyond the words that are said. It's everything. So it's a two-way street. We also have to build and really set the expectation that when I speak, you listen. And when you speak, I triple listen. As a coach, I owe you that. It's a big deal. Conversations live in the center of coaching. Really, all the work happens within a dialogue, a really collaborative dialogue where you use as a coach, as a pro coach, your skill set and tools to guide the relationship and progress, because that's what you're paid for as a professional, but really to keep that dialogue and these great conversations at the center of the coaching. What right looks like. Resist the one-up. Many times as coaches, we will want a one-up. What that means is somebody says, hey, I just bought, here's what happened to me. Oh, yeah, well, you should hear what happened to me. And then we increase that reality. We make it us. We make it about us and not them. And this is a very, very common thing in new coaches, and kind of an unprofessional coach will do this. So resist internal dialogue. As we're listening, we are having a conversation of judgment. We're having a conversation about last night in our own minds, and we're not quite listening. So as a new coach or a 1 to 3 year coach also kind of struggles with this at times. Resist being needy and internally demanding. So needy means it's a little too much about yourself within the listening skill you're trying to build. You really have to have a clean, very silent mind with a deep focus on what you're hearing. This is a big deal. Extreme presence, eyes, ear, body, tone, hair, chair, everything is about listening, whether you're virtual or you're in front of a person without any kind of computer. This is a big deal. Seeing, hearing, and connecting with the words, going deeper, trying to find the nuances as you get to know your client more. You understand their weaknesses and their strength, and you're really able to determine. And don't get scared when I'm getting like this. You will develop those skills. You might already have them, all right? But this is something we're going to really dive into. So what right looks like. Become active and pay attention to your own behaviors. It's really important to, as you're listening, not to be like overwhelmingly attentive to yourself, but as you're listening, you're also just a little bit understanding what you're doing. Because what you're doing, sounding, looking like, eyes, ears, right? Your body, your motion, everything is being looked at in many ways by your client. So make sure you know that you're calm, you're at attention, you're fully present, and you're really understanding your wake, right? What you're putting out there is a big deal. Trust is built when shoulders are in and eyes are kind. So inside the conversation, not laid back. inside, forward shoulders, knee to knee is what we used to call it in healthcare. I used to teach physicians and surgeons to get knee to knee with a patient and really connect correctly so they know and believe that you're there. And that builds trust. So take small notes and tell them what you're doing. Within the role, we're already diving on tactics and behaviors that are professional to really get you going in the right direction. And there's much more to come. So active listener listens without judgment. Zero judgment, we covered that. Listens with a clear mind and the intent to listen, not respond. Right? That's a big one. Avoids judgment by choice. This takes a little skill, but you'll get there. Just know that you have to get to that level as a listener. That's why we start right off within the role, teaching, coaching these tactics. Truly absorbs the information, not only in mind, but in writing. Tell your client, I'll be taking some notes. I am paying full attention to you. Just so you know, I'm not ignoring you if my eyes drop to my notepad. This is a key tactic. I am just making sure I capture the essence of what you're speaking about. Don't let that's a writer downer, write the notes down. So has great posture and positive responses. Rare. This is where I want you to be. I want you to be rare. Here's what rare stands for. Receive, appreciate, review, engage. So I want you to receive the entire message of the client, what they are talking about. You've asked a question, you're trying to review something with them, receive the entire message. Before you do anything, think, judge, you're open, you're physically and mentally there, your ears and mind and heart and spirit is open to the client, and you are receiving. You're taking good notes, you're doing little ahas and hums and I hear you, great. Tell me more. And you're acknowledging what they're saying, not robotically, in a comfortable way, building that safe space, building that comfort zone where they are able to really open up because it is a safe place. That's what a coaching relationship offers most. That safety where others will judge them, where others will say anything really to take them off a topic. You as a coach, they can come to you and really speak their hearts, speak their minds. So receive it all first. Then we turn to the A, appreciate. Appreciate what they've said. This is a big one. This is huge. This is what a pro coach does. We appreciate everything they've been talking about, what they're trying to convey, and we're just so proud of them. R for review. Then we review with them. A little paraphrasing goes a long way. So I heard you say X, Y, and Z. I'd like to dive deeper in this particular topic. I'd like you to elaborate on this particular thing. Am I right when I say that I heard you say X, Y, and Z? Using this type of phraseology in a very comfortable, easygoing way shows them you've listened, that you care, and it builds trust. And then E is when you engage even more. If you want to go deeper in something, or you think you hit a chord within a conversation, you say, I have heard everything you said. I think you know that. I want to engage in what you said right here 4 or 5 minutes ago. I took a note. You said X, Y, and Z. I'd like to go deeper. Would that be okay with you? Great. And now we engage and continue the dialogue. This is critical. Be one of the rare ones. A pro coach will differentiate themselves with the RARE acronym. This is key, one of your biggest tools you can put in your tool bag, and you'll see why as we progress. So whole being listening, remember we talked about that? I want to make sure we really, really get this going for you and that this mindset is instilled correctly. We eliminate the me, myself, and I. We know this. It's not about me as a coach. It's not about myself. It's not about I. It's all about the client. I think we're starting to make ourselves very clear, aren't we, about that? We turn up the volume on the entire client, all right? Like we said, what's their body language? What's their tone? We ask clarifying questions to know what's not only happening within them, but around them. We need to really deepen our attention to mind, body, and soul. That's what a great coach does. That's what a pro coach does. Whole being listening. So we focus on the whole person, not one problem. So what I mean by that is we can look and identify and encapsulate one little problem that we feel we need to work on, that we need our client to start thinking about. But what other elements of themselves or their lives or their work might be more of a root cause than what we're talking about right now? And we're going to talk a lot about root cause analysis down the road. But many times, an inexperienced coach will really just take whatever the client is saying for gold without really asking, well, what else is influencing these issues or this thought within you? And we can only do that by whole being listening, by having those big sets of headphones, really getting in tune with the client. So let's look at the emotion, the vision, the values, the mission, right? This is a big, big deal. So when we look at the client and the more we get to know them, we know their vision, we know their values, so we can redirect them when they can't back to the mission, back to the values. We can challenge them and say, hey, look, this doesn't sound like you're really connected to your values today, to your vision, to the emotions. And emotions are very, very important within the coaching conversation because we build and continue to build a safe and comfortable place for our clients. They are going to become emotional at times, and we are going to embrace that emotion and try to understand where it's coming from and how we can move them forward. So what is the gut, right? What is the gut telling the coach? Instinctive alerts start to happen, right? Instinct. We're going to really talk about how to build your instinct down the road, but you've already had gut feelings that have been dead on, and you know what I'm talking about. And then other times you weren't. But as a coach, you will develop that gut feeling and that instinctive alert more and more. So as the client speaks, look for those cues. What's your gut telling you about this? Are they hiding something? Is there something we need to go deeper into? So really listen to the whole being and be alert to what your instinct is telling you the more you get to know your client. So sincerely connecting, listening, and accepting is the big deal. How you listen has massive impact on everything. No matter what result, vision you want to achieve with a client, nothing will prepare you to help them move forward, support and develop them moving forward than listening. It's the biggest thing, the most important thing. That's why we're dwelling on it a little bit. So seeing the entire person, message, and environment. Really understand what's the truth about everything that's going on about within this client. So the whole being listening. Here's an example. Client says, you know what, I'm struggling. Great. The coach listens internally, looks at the entire environment, and then looks at the entire world around them. Okay, this is a big deal. That's called whole being listening. So I'm not just listening through my ears or through my heart and soul. I'm looking at the entire picture and every angle I have available to me to help you. Inspiration and trust. We are here to inspire. That's part of support and development. We're here to inspire and build trust. Your skill will inspire longer-term change. Okay, so the better you're a listener, you're asking good questions, you're really becoming a person of trust. You're really becoming somebody that inspires them because of that relationship you're building. So who you are and stand for inspires implementation. As a role model, as a leader of this relationship, which you are, you're the professional leader of this relationship. You have the tools and the training. You're the one, right? You really build that inspiration, which I always need. I hire coaches all the time, and I want that inspiration. And it comes from trust and being that leader. And they know who I am. They know that I've surpassed many of my coaches in many ways, but I hire coaches that can fulfill something I haven't done yet. And that happens to me all the time, and I love it. And that was the coach's role, part 1. Man, did we cover a lot here. We're going to dive deeper in a lot of these topics down the road. But I wanted to make sure we're starting to add that value, the mindsets, everything that should be occurring within you, outside of you, is happening. And we're really starting to do the work, really getting into your mind. Well, who will I be? How will I act? What behaviors are most important? That's what this is all about. I'm Chase Jordan. I am your coach. I am so proud of you. This is a big one. I'd go back and listen to it again if I was you. Coach's Role Part 1. See you in Coach's Role Part 2. Bye-bye.